Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ryan. Thank you for being here. Today, just a little camera update video, I guess. Some stuff I've been looking at that I thought I would share with you. Some stuff that I found interesting. Of course, recently everyone making videos about the Canon 8K and then making videos about the Canon 8K EOS R5 or EOS R5 overheating. That is so last week. We're on to 12K this week. That's right. A company that's been quite innovative. And when I got an opportunity to finally use their camera in the Netflix video I made, if you haven't seen that, Netflix approved cameras, you can watch that up there. I imagine this is a future Netflix approved camera, although it is not right now. I don't even know if you can get this right now. I think only select people can get it. This is the new Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 12K. Now, if you look at it, it looks very similar to the Ursa Mini Pros that are out right now, but the Ursa Mini Pros that are out right now are only 4.6K. What am I going to do with that? Film ants. Speaking of which, I've got a story on ant size cameras coming up too. So I just thought I'd bring you along for a little browsing session today. Something fun to do. This is the Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 12K. There it is on their official website with the Zeiss lens on there. Just looking at it, introducing the world's most advanced digital film camera, the Ursa Mini Pro 12K. It is a Super 35 sensor, which is roughly APS-C sized, which is kind of, run of the mill in the cinema world. But comparing to something you might have, that's like a sensor the size of, say, like your Sony a6100 or Sony a6000. 14 stops of dynamic range, 80 megapixels per frame. First of all, so your stills cameras that are taking the big, I've got the 50 megapixel or whatever. This is 80 megapixels per frame. To put that in perspective, the A7R4, which is a full frame digital camera, shoots 61 megapixel stills, which seemed pretty huge at the time. I have no need for 61 megapixel stills. This shoots 80 megapixels per frame. So you can imagine 24 frames or 60 frames a second or 120 if you're shooting some slow-mo. That's a lot of frames and that's a lot of memory. I know with the new Canon, the EOS R5, which is the 8K camera, that's sucking up, it's raw and it's sucking up basically a terabyte an hour, or, you can do the math on that. So this is going to be for some serious professional applications when it is 12K, and Blackmagic always gives you RAW. They've got the flexibility of Blackmagic RAW with this camera. We'll see what else we can find out. There you go. There's the 80 megapixel 12K Super 35. It is a beautiful looking camera. It looks like it's got all the bells and whistles. Let's check it out. Ooh, an action scene being shot there. That's a really nice photo. Good job, Blackmagic. Extreme resolution. Yes, that is extreme. You can use this for feature films, episodic television, immersive large format IMAX. So you can shoot IMAX stuff on 12K. So I don't know what you guys are shooting. I'm not shooting a whole lot of IMAX these days, but you could. There's the resolution right there. 12,228 by 6480. That is massive. Shoot in 12K, edit on a laptop. The Ursa Mini Pro 12K sensor and Blackmagic RAW designed together to make a 12-bit RAW workflow in 12K effortless. That sounds promising, but effortless on this laptop would be awful. Sorry about the camera resolution. I'm just doing this on my laptop today. It wouldn't work on this laptop. Maybe my other work laptop. Shots in post for delivery. You could reframe for delivery in 8K. Let's say you just want to deliver in 8K. You shoot it in 12K. You can, move your... move about the frame. You can deliver in 4K, whatever. So obviously this isn't for everybody. This isn't for your enthusiast necessarily, unless you're like me and sometimes you just like to buy ridiculous stuff. Here you go. There's your different encoding options, constant bitrate encoding options, 5:1, 8:1, 12:1, 18:1. Anyway, I just thought this was very interesting. Optimized for, of course, DaVinci Resolve, Generation 5 color science, 12K at 60 FPS, 8K at 110 FPS, and 4K at 220 FPS. Those are some outrageous specs, and I got to say, as someone who got on the Blackmagic train kind of later, I've only used a few of their cameras. They were excellent. I've loved everything about them. I have a couple of pocket 4Ks right now. I've shot on the Ursa Mini 4.6K. Great experiences. So I can only imagine this would be great too. However, as with things like this, and even the new Canon 8K, you got to beef up your whole system. You got to beef up the computer. You got to beef up the memory cards. So what does this shoot on? 2 CFast cards, so the Ursa Mini Pro 12K can record simultaneously across 2 cards, 900 megabits per second to 2 CFast cards, or an impressive 500 megabits per second to 2 UHS-2 SD cards. So that's pretty cool. CFast cards have come down in price quite a bit if you haven't looked, and they are cheaper definitely than CF Express. So like a CF Express card, yikes. Yeah. A terabyte for Delkin devices. I don't know what company that is. They have good reviews. $700, $599 for 512 gigabytes. Whereas a CFast card, they're expensive, but they're a little cheaper. So 256 gig for 130, 180, something like that. So that's an interesting development with this camera, is that it shoots on a little more affordable media, which is great, because when I was looking at the R5 from Canon, they use the CF Express cards, and those are super expensive right now. I know it has another slot for SD, but you're unless they come out with some compressed RAW options, it's going to be hard to shoot on anything but those. So there you go. That's a quick look at this new Ursa Mini Pro 12K. You can check out more just by going to that link right there. There's all your connections. Pretty awesome. And still borrowing from the same design as the Ursa Mini Pro and the Ursa Mini 4.6, which are awesome cameras still. And 4.6K for me is plenty. I will not be buying one of these, but as always, I'm always interested in this stuff, and that's the type of stuff I look at. So today I thought we'd look at that together. Another interesting story on the opposite end of the video world. This story. Someone sent this to me. I love it. Scientists strapped a tiny camera to a beetle. Apparently, why would they do it? Well, just to test just how small video technology can get. So there you go. That's pretty much the answer. It can get that small at least. And this is, not even in the covert technology area. This is just in the science world. They strapped this camera to the beetle. I read the article. Apparently, they could make it even smaller too once they can power it, remotely. This actually had a little tiny battery on it. Worth checking out, though. You can Google the article. Scientists have developed a tiny wireless camera that can ride on the back of an insect, giving a bug eye view of the world. That's pretty awesome. Now, the applications I like are how that can apply to something like action cameras or something like that. You got your GoPro, fairly small, but you still have to strap it ridiculously to your head or whatever else. This is something, one thing I thought of is, if you've never heard of the Snapchat spectacles that they made, which were glasses with cameras in them, or other smart glasses. This would be an awesome way to implement that, I think. If you could put a really good camera in some glasses for an action camera, and some sunglasses or whatever, because everything that's out there is pretty cheap, junky technology. The spectacles from Snapchat were surprisingly good, but never really caught on, or implemented into a piece of clothing or whatever. Granted, there's going to be privacy concerns, but I do see the beauty of this. And the thing I think that doesn't surprise me about this small technology, see, the crappy computer is crashing, is that a lot of R&D has gone into cell phones, which have obviously very tiny cameras in them. And, I think they've gotten a lot more research and development than the big cameras, the mirrorless, DSLR, all that, which is why your phone has so much good software and everything that's compensating for the small sensors, the small lenses. So, it's interesting to hear that they're developing even smaller and more interesting technology. This is something I'd love to see implemented in other things that we use and other specifically action cameras or drones or other small things. So I thought this was an interesting story you can check out too. So that's all this video was about. A couple of interesting things I found. Thank you for hanging out with me, Ryan. This is the kind of stuff I do. If you can like and sub, I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you real soon. See ya.